so today we're going to be making some Cajun Zoodles. This is kind of a spin on a spicy Cajun pasta dish. First thing I'm going to do is I've already got some shrimp in a bowl that's going to go in my pasta. I'm just going to slice up some of this sausage, and it's going to kind of add a little bit of heat and spice to it. So I'm looking to make nice small slices so that it'll cook at the same rate as my shrimp. So I'm looking to get just about a little less than a ½ inch slice on my sausage all the way down. We got our sausage all sliced up. We're gonna get the majority of our oil from the sausage, so we're just gonna turn it on, or dump it in our pan. We got it turned on a low heat, and we wanna cook this nice and slow so that we get plenty of oil out of our sausage.
All right, so we have a pound of shrimp here. The recipe calls for a ½ pound, but I like more protein in my meals, so the way we're gonna do this is blacken it. So first, I just got this thawed out in a bowl. I drained all the water off of it, but it's gonna be easy. I'm just gonna sprinkle some blackening seasoning on here, somewhat thick. Then I'm gonna shake the shrimp around until I don't see any or as much seasoning, and then I'm gonna dump some more seasoning, and I'm just gonna keep repeating this process of tossing and seasoning until it's all nice and coated, and all you'll be able to taste is blackened seasoning. All right, so we got our sausage bleeding some major grease out in this pan, and I kind of got the sausage browned a little bit because it was gonna take longer to brown the sausage than it is to cook these shrimp. You really don't have to cook shrimp very long. You don't want to cook it very long because it'll start to get kind of tough, but
Rubbery.
Yep, so we're just gonna try to get a nice thin layer of shrimp on this pan. Once it starts turning white, I'm gonna give it a nice good stir. And all in all, I'll probably be cooking this shrimp for maybe 5 minutes, if that.
Man, looks good, nice and seasoned.
All right, so our shrimp is cooked, sauteed really well. So we're gonna remove it from the pan. I just got a little dish here that I'm gonna scoop it all into. We're gonna cook our vegetables, and then we're gonna add all this back into it when we make our sauce. So this is probably gonna be the most complex dish of the challenge, but hopefully you've learned a few skills on the way.
And you're ready for the challenge.
Oh yeah. Always progress, always forward, never backward. All right, so we're gonna use a ½ onion and a whole red pepper for our shrimp sausage zoodles dish. And I think like for pasta and stuff, like you don't really wanna have small chunks that you can't wrap around a fork along with the zoodles. So we're gonna try to keep everything as long as possible. So like long strips of, sauteed onion and long strips of sauteed red pepper. And that's just my opinion. You don't have to do it that way. But I'm gonna go ahead and half this onion, and I'm gonna show you exactly what I'm talking about on how to slice it. I like to remove the drier, thicker, tougher outside of the onion. But I'm gonna set it, the grain runs this way, so I'm gonna cut it along with the grain instead of like going against the grain to dice. And what I'm gonna do is just try to make some paper thin slices. This is the center of the onion, so I'm gonna try to go out, right, like a fan. And I just slice toward the middle. And like I said, if you know a better way to do this, just let us know in the comments, and or make your own freaking cooking video. You know what I mean? If you're so damn good at it. And then once I get all that sliced up with those longer slices, I can transfer that to the skillet, and I just kind of like grind and rub until they all start to fall apart. And there you go. You got all these little onion petals, thin sliced onion petals, ready to get sauteed. All right, we're gonna do the same thing with the pepper, making nice long strips, but first we gotta core it, so I like to just go down and to the outside. Oop. There you go. And then just try to remove any tough
pit
of the pepper. You may not want that stuff. And then we're just going to transfer all this in there with our onions. Voila.
Looking pretty already.
All right, so we got our peppers and onions sauteed. I threw some extra cherry tomatoes in there. You don't have to do that. You can if you want. I did it just because I'm better than you. But now we're gonna take some garlic cloves and we're going to slice up some garlic and we're gonna let that cook in the pan for about 30 seconds to get kind of aromatic. And then after that, we're gonna add our little jar of diced tomatoes.
Gotta get me one of those.
All right, so our garlic's been in there for 30 seconds, and now we're just gonna add a half a can of diced tomatoes.
Okay. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and start making our sauce. We're just gonna make it right in the pan. I've got a half a cup of chicken broth. I'll throw that in there. 2 tablespoons of coconut milk. 1/3 of a cup of white wine. Next we're going to add a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. And hopefully this is another, oh sweet, not so conservative pour. And then a tablespoon of hot sauce. So Drew ought to have a collection up here. So out of all the hot sauces that he has, we didn't have the one we needed, so we're just going to use sriracha instead.
We didn't want anybody vomiting from heat-induced sickness. So we're just gonna go with the nice, mild, not spicy at all sriracha.
Just feel free at home to use a normal hot sauce.
You know, like Louisiana,
Bristol's.
Tabasco.
All right, now we've turned our heat up a little bit. We're just gonna mix this sauce around and we're gonna let it kind of boil and thicken.
Right.
Boiling, now we're gonna go ahead and cook our zoodles. So it's real simple, we're just gonna dump them in. Give them a little stir. And all we're gonna do is cook them until they're nice and tender.
We got these zoodles from the Foley Farmers Market. They shred them. I know you can always find them there on Tuesdays and Saturdays, but if you call up there, then they'll make them for you. And you're gonna save you a lot of money versus like buying them pre-shredded or whatever, like from Walmart.
So our zoodles are nice and tender. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to let my sauce thicken, so I'm just going to turn my heat down back to a low setting. And I'm just going to let it simmer until the sauce is as thick as I'd like, and then we're almost done. This is nice and thick. Now I'm just going to add back in my shrimp and my sausage. Ooh, it's looking good already. And all I'm basically going to do here is I'm just putting a little bit more heat back into the shrimp, back into the sausage, kind of working it into my pasta, my zucchini noodles here.
Doesn't that look good, y'all?
There's like a 5-star chef in here.
This is going to be probably the most complicated, involved meal that we make, but it's also the last meal that we make.
It's also one of the best ones.
Yeah, so hopefully y'all worked up to it, and hopefully you give it a shot and try your hand at some more culinary skills.
Once it's hot, it's ready to eat.